All right, welcome to our team call. This is Empower and Change. We're going to call it Empower Change because it's my downline and Jess's downline, and we'll just label it that from now on. That way it makes sense for everybody. And we just want to get started by talking about just a few things that we want to do to simplify things. So I know that there are a lot of calls, there's a lot of different downlines going on in groups, and I want to make sure it's simple for everybody and so that you all know kind of what to plug into. There is a buffet table, right? Like there's a lot of information out there, like so much information and leaders to help you and groups, and it's amazing. Like the amount of information and support that we get from our leaders is really, really incredible. But I also want it to be simple for you. And so if you're in my messenger thread and Jess's messenger thread, like that's probably good. I don't want you guys to, feel like you have to be in all of them. You can if you choose to, but we will relay any messages that you need to hear in those threads. And then we have, so like Katie does power hours like a couple times a week, and they also do a What is Plexus call. They used to do it on Mondays, but I think now they switched it to Wednesdays or Tuesdays? Wednesdays. I know that there's also like Christy's call on Mondays, and then there's like Kimberly's call is it still on Mondays? Yep. I can't even remember now. I'd have to look at my calendar because they just move things around. So I have to double check. But there's a buffet table, right? And you are more than welcome to utilize any of those calls. If you feel like it's something that benefits you or you connect with a specific leader. I know when I first started, I really connected with some of the things that Brooke and Emily would share, and I was like, oh, that's so interesting. I didn't know that, and so I would get on a lot of their team calls, and I loved what they would share. And so you're always more than welcome to get on anything. But I do want to simplify it, and I want to kind of just lay out a really basic schedule of kind of the most like top priority, right? So, and I think that this is great because sometimes in my mind, I'm like, wait, what do I do? What do I utilize? What do I get on? And I want to just lay it out there and make it so simple. Okay, so every Thursday night we have this call, and I would say be on this call. Like if you can only pick one call, be on this call. Anything that we hear on Christy's call or Kim's call that's important, we can relate to you if you were not on those calls, okay? So every Thursday night, and then me and Jess were doing the What is Plexus calls every Thursday, but we decided to simplify things, which I'm actually really excited about. We want to really utilize the 3 days of Plexus because this group, in my opinion, is way underutilized. And when you get people in there, they are seeing so many stories and so many comments, and they see people excited and they see people ordering their welcome pack. And it's just a really good group. Like people that I have put in there almost always come around to order, even if they don't order right away, right? Because they're watching a little bit every couple weeks. And sometimes I have better success getting people in the play group than I do on a What is Plexus sometimes. So, but we want to keep doing the What is Plexus for people that maybe don't do Facebook, right? Things like that. So to simplify things, me and Jess are only going to be doing a What is Plexus call on the weeks that we are not doing the 3 days of Plexus. Okay. So if you go into Christy's builder page, Synergy Plexus Builders, I think you are all part of that. You will see, like right when you scroll down, there is a calendar, right? And you can go in there anytime and you can see what time the 3-day group is. So like this month, the 3 days, the 8th through the 10th. And then we're skipping 2 weeks because of Christmas, right? And then we'll do the 3-day, the 28th through the 30th. Which is awesome because that's going to gear everybody up for the new year. A lot of people want to start the new year off with goals of like weight loss, health, all those things, right? And so really be engaged anytime that you can this month, getting people into that group, because that is going to be a massive momentum for you if you get people in that 3-day by the end of the month, gearing into new year. Okay. So just, I will write this out so that if you don't have a pencil and pen or whatever, then I will write it out for you. But just know, like, tonight we had our What is Plexus. So next week we won't have one. We will just be pouring people into the 3-day. Okay. And then we'll skip to the 17th. So then the next week we'll do What is Plexus. We're skipping Christmas, and then we'll go into the 3-day. So we're not doing the call every Thursday from now on. Does that make sense? Do you guys feel like that will be good to kind of only have one? I thought that it would be so good just to have like one thing to focus on. Like, okay, this week I'm going to focus on inviting to the What is Plexus call, right? And utilize that call. Okay, next week I'm inviting to the 3-day. I just felt like there was a little bit more of a rhythm, and it's like one action, focus on that one action rather than like, what do I invite to? Do I invite to the Monday call? Or, you know what I mean? I just want it to be so simple. So that's the schedule I'm personally using. Those are the things that I would recommend you do as like your top priority. And then anything else is extra. So if you're like, oh, I want to get on the Power Hour, great, you can get on it, right? But just use that system kind of. Does anyone have questions or?
And I want to kind of add too, the reason why we're changing and simplifying things is because the systems, oh my gosh, systems that we have in place will do the work for you. So that's the beautiful thing about it, is like 3 days of Plexus, you guys, it moves the needle if we utilize it. And I am so guilty of not utilizing it. Like, I'm like, I'll use it. And then I forget to tag people in. And then it was the last day of the month, last month, I got a text or a notification from a girl I've been talking to for months. And she was like, oh, I had no idea about this deal. Is it over yet? And it was already over. And that was my fault for not utilizing the systems. So that's where I'm saying, like, these systems are in place and we're trying to simplify it so that you guys can have more intentional time in spending where your time should be spent. Like, I don't want you guys on your phones all day, every day. Like, that's not what this life is about. You know, we have children, we have spouses, we have family parties coming up, we have COVID. Like, we have other priorities that we're focusing on as well. And I want you to intentionally work the systems that we have in place and not be overwhelmed. Because I'll be honest, I feel overwhelmed at times, being like, I don't even know what call to invite them to, because I don't know what call to be on. So I want you to know that the 3 days of Plexus is going to be your best friend if you utilize it. And we've seen it work in many ways with people that have had really fast growth, rank ups, retention. Like, Carly's actually really, really good at this. She tags in even people that are on the products, being like, oh my gosh, this video relates to you, because she knows what they're going through. And then she's also really good about tagging her new people. So that's a really good system for, you know, it looks, it works for you, Lauren. Like, that's so great to hear that it's working for you. These systems are supposed to be put in place to help your business grow and not overwhelm you. Yes, you might be asked to do a live that week, but if you intentionally pull out your phone or on your computer and say, okay, I have 15 minutes, who can I go watch a live and comment on so that your people can see that you're commenting, and then also tagging those people in that relate to you. So that's where I really want you to focus your time. And then the What is Plexus calls, and Nicole and I will do only every other Thursday, but Katie and Kim will also have their every week Plexus call, so that you still have an opportunity. Say someone wants to hear something, you can plug them in, even if it's not the 3 days of Plexus, or you have the opportunity of having a recorded video from the What is Plexus call to send to them as well. So just so you guys know.
Right. And we do have ailment specific calls that have been done. They weren't done by me and Jess, they were done by Christy, but they're like people that struggle with like headaches, right? Or pain, or people that struggle with like PMS, or like they have like more ailment specific. And so you could always use those to send them. But I personally feel like the 3-day has been more successful for me. And so I really want to encourage you guys to use that, and know that, you know, sometimes we think we need to know everything and we don't. Like, that group, there's everything in there already, and we don't have to like explain everything to everyone. And we also, sometimes like I think I need to like convince people why the products work because the ingredients are so good and things like that. And I just have to remind myself that like information doesn't sell the products, right? The stories do. Like, when people hear how it's moved somebody in real life, that is what moves them to want to try it. And so that is why those groups with stories are so powerful. And it really is an easy button. And so I would just encourage you to remember to like be posting, right? Like don't overwhelm your Instagram with just all Plexus stuff. So post about your personal life and then sprinkle in Plexus and then work on each week just inviting to the 3-day or inviting to the call, right? So, and you can tag people in the 3-day even if it's not the week that we're doing it, because they leave those stories in there until right before they're doing the next week, and then they delete them right before and then they start over. So I just want to simplify it for you guys. I know sometimes for me in the beginning when I started, my brain wouldn't shut down of all the things I needed to do. And so I kind of felt like I was working all day, even though really I wasn't. And so I want you guys to also think about your work as action. Okay. So when you are taking action, like doing a post, sending messages, tagging people, commenting in the 3-day, right? Like things like that. Those are actions that will yield results of helping people. But when we're just thinking about Plexus, that's not working. And sometimes it feels like we're working because our brain is going, right? And so maybe just setting a timer and using your calendar. One thing that's really worked so well for me, I am not a calendar person. Jess is, I'm not. And for a long time, I was like, oh, I'm just not a calendar person. And so my brain was just like running on overdrive all day long. And I recently really focused on writing everything down. And I write it down for that day. And if I don't get to it, then I move it to another day, right? But if I do it, I cross it out. And honestly, crossing it out helps me feel like I am actually doing work. I'm like, yay, I did that step. Okay, next step. And it sounds like so silly and like simple, but it's really helped me to be intentional when I'm working. And then when I'm with my family, be intentional with my family. So like today I worked for a little bit and then I was, shopping with my kids and doing those things. And I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I didn't do anything, because I was like, nope, I already did those things and I crossed them off. And now I can be intentional with my family. And I want that for you guys too. I don't want you guys spinning your wheels all day feeling overwhelmed. I want you guys to be able to say, I did these steps. And so in my team thread, and I can post it in Jess's too, and I'll talk with Jess about it and see if she wants to add anything to the list that I came up with. But we will just lay out some of the basic things that me and Jess do that really move the needle for us, that are like actions, and be like, hey, every day, like do these 5 actions. And then cross them off, go be with your family. You know what I mean? We want it to be simple. So,
well, and with that too, Nicole, is do you guys ever get a text, even if it's not Plexus related, and you're in the middle of something doing with your kids, and so you quickly write back and you either text the wrong person or you say the wrong name, which I've done before. I called a lady who's named Amy, Linda, and she's like, who's Linda? And I'm like, oh my gosh, Amy. Or you send a message and it doesn't make sense. And that's where I want intentional work to come from. Like for me, Plexus is the same time every day. I block an hour in the morning and then again in the afternoon. And then at night, I just kind of finish up what I need to finish up. But if I get a text about a regimen tweaking, I let them know. You can even let them know. Oh, what's that noise? Can you hear a noise? That was weird.
Yeah, I can.
I let them know that I'll get back to you. Like I acknowledge it, but I'm not reactive to that message. And I used to be. Like the first year of Plexus, you guys, I was on my phone all day, every day. And I was like, this is not working. My kids are noticing it. My husband's noticing it. I'm getting the kinked neck because I'm always on my phone. And I'm realizing that there's no emergency in Plexus. There's not. Like, yes, there might have some diarrhea, but you retweaking their regimen at that second isn't going to change them in the next 12 hours. So just making sure that you get back to them. And that's why I love 3-way messages too, because say I'm busy and I'm at work and someone reaches out to me, they've always added Nicole, or I've added Nicole because she's my upline. And if I can't get back to her, Nicole will. And I want you guys to feel that your upline will get back to them. And I do that with Carly and Tiffany and Lauren. I want you to know that you can add Jamie. And if you don't hear from Jamie, Melissa, or myself will help you. That's why I love that third-party validation, because someone's always going to be busy, right? And that's why we help each other. We rise together. And then at that time, you can be intentional. And I've told Tiffany that before. Like, even as a friendship, I'm like, I haven't written back yet because I can't be intentional. I'm busy with my kids. I'm wiping bums all day. Like, give me just a minute and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, I love that. I agree with Jess. I tend to be like squirrel brained and want to do everything right, right away. And learning to, if I'm like, I might forget this, like I open the message and I might forget it. Did you know that on Messenger you can actually go and check the box that says mark unread so you don't forget? So even if you open it and you're like, I don't have time to respond to this right now, you push, I don't even remember what you push something at the bottom, like more, and then swipe it, and then you just select mark unread, and then you can come back and you can respond later. And I started doing that so that I don't forget. But if it's a text message and I've opened it, then I will like put it on my calendar, or I'll say, hey, I'll get back to you later. And then usually they'll say like, okay, thanks. And then I don't open the okay, thanks. That way I remembered it. You know what I mean? But like, I just, I want you guys being intentional. And like Christy Jex always says, peace in your heart, money in your bank account, in that order. And I love that, because what we're doing really is to bless lives. And yes, we are doing a business too, but we want you to have peace in your heart, right? So that's really important. The last thing I wanted to talk about before we pass the time over to Tiffany, and I don't know if Jess has anything else that she wants to share, but I wanted to talk about the girls' night for Leaders Retreat, because I'm really excited about this. And I was really, really pumped up about Leaders Retreat. You guys, last year was like the funnest time I have ever had. Like, me and my husband have not gone on a lot of trips together. I think just because we've had little children and, all that stuff. And so when we went, it was so fun. And so when they canceled it, me and Jess were both like, what? Like, it was so fun. They can't cancel it. And I was really excited to connect with my team. And so we want you guys to know that we are putting together a little retreat, and for anybody that earned it, and then each of you that earned it will get to bring a guest. And I know some of you guys probably have already heard about this, but we want you to be there. We love you guys, and we love bonding with you guys, and we love just hanging out and doing fun things without kids and not being distracted. And we want you guys all to be there. So that will be the January 8th and 9th. And we also have maybe a little surprise for those that come. So we want you to be there. I don't know if Jess wants to add anything else, but
no, that's perfect.
We're trying to make it as cheap as possible. Like, we'll find an Airbnb that's, very reasonable, and the guests won't be required to pay. Okay, because originally that's how it is in Leaders Retreat. The guest comes for free. So that will be how we'll do it this time too. So anyway.
And one more thing too, because maybe we can have Tiff start early too. Well, that's a thing. I sent out on the other threads that it's going to be 8:30, not 8:20. So maybe give it 10 minutes. But did anyone want to go over the active? I know we went over the active last night. So is that something that you guys want to relearn tonight, or was last night okay? Are we good?
Tiffany wasn't on the call, and maybe I don't think that
person. Is anyone?
Do you want me to go over it, or were you planning on doing it?
Oh, did you guys want to go over the active?
Oh, or we can talk about something else.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Is that one? I didn't hear that last night, but is it recorded? I don't remember if Christy recorded it.
Yeah, but if you want, we can even go over it. Nicole, do you want to go over the active and then?
I can, unless everybody has something else they'd rather talk about.
Go for it.
Okay. All right, so I don't have the packet with me, but y'all know what it looks like. So I personally did not start the active for energy. I felt like with the triplex and the X Factor Plus, I felt like I was having good sustained energy all day long. And I'm not an energy drinker, okay? So I was just like, oh, I don't know if I really need it. But when I started learning a little bit more about it, I was intrigued, because I do like to stay fit and active at the gym. And I heard that it was good for muscle recovery. And that was what sparked my interest with muscle recovery. So I tried it, and I do feel like when I take it, I recover much quicker from my workouts. And that is because it increases nitric oxide in the body and it increases at 175% in studies in your blood. And it is from an antioxidant rich blend of turmeric, blueberry, tart cherry, and kale. And I mean, tart cherry alone is so good for muscle recovery. I don't know if you guys have ever learned about that, but that combination is going to help relax the blood vessels, which increases blood flow, which is going to help fuel and carry nutrients quicker to active muscle. So that is why you're going to recover quicker from taking that, which I thought was so, so cool. And I really do notice a difference in my recovery when I take it. I also I'm super sensitive to caffeine. And so I was like, I don't want to take caffeine. But I don't get super jittery from this. Sometimes if I haven't eaten for a really long time after a workout, I'll kind of start feeling jittery if I, do that. But just overall, it doesn't make me feel jittery, which I love. But yes, did someone ask me something?
Yeah. When do you take it then for muscle recovery? Do you take it after? I know you said you have it at the gym, but do you take it? When do you take it?
I take it before and during my workout. So I'll just drink it in the middle of my workout or before. I know Brooke Hemingway drinks hers after for muscle recovery, but I like taking it. I like taking it during, because it does give me that caffeine up, a little. So I'm I don't necessarily want it for after, but sometimes I don't drink it till after, and it's great too. So I don't think that there's a wrong way. It's just kind of your way, right? And sometimes I only drink half. I'll just take half of it, or I'll mix it with my pink drink and take half, something like that. Because I don't always feel I don't need a lot of energy, right? So it does have green tea and yerba mate. That is the natural caffeine source that they get it from, are those two things. And it has L-theanine in it, which is great for mental clarity. And I actually do feel like it helps with my mental clarity, which I love. I also love that all the Plexus products, including this one, has vitamins in it that are bioavailable for your body. So that just means that it's the most absorbable form of the vitamin. So your body's going to be able to utilize that better. So it has A, C, E, and B in it. And it also helps, it says it enhances alertness, reduces oxidative stress. And one of my very favorite parts about it, this is where I get a little bit geeky, you guys. I love that it doesn't have sugar or chemicals or dyes or synthetic colors or synthetic sweeteners. It doesn't have any of that, which I love, because most energy drinks have that, and a lot of the food we have today has that, right? And a lot of those things are so bad for our health long term. So if it's something that you're going to be drinking often, you don't want, if you drink something that has that in it once in a while, whatever. But if it's something you're drinking often, that can be bad for your health. So I love that. I love the facts that I read on this. So a Monster energy drink has 54 grams of sugar. A Rockstar has 62 grams. A Starbucks double shot has 26 grams. And the Active only has 3. And it's natural sugars that come from honey, I think it's honey powder and stevia, which I thought was so cool. So it is very mildly sweet if you haven't tried it. The first time I tried it, I'm like, this is not sweet enough. But now I love it, and I don't feel like I need anything sweeter.
Have you guys all had it?
Lauren hasn't
had it yet.
Do you like it, Tiffany? Maybe I shouldn't ask that.
All right, it's on you. Yes, I do. So I had ordered some probably about a month ago, and I just let it sit in the closet. But so I had COVID for the last couple of weeks, and there were a couple of days where I was really dragging. And that's when I was like, I'm going to try this. And I just mixed it up. And I swear I just was feeling normal when I drank that. So I really like it.
I like mixing it with my pink drink. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I love it mixed.
I love mixing it because it just changes the flavor. And it's fun to have something new sometimes, right? I really like the flavors together. And so when I mix it with my pink drink, I only usually do like half a pack because I don't need it to be like super strong or anything. It just kind of gives it a different flavor and I love it. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had on that. Yeah. Jess, do you have anything else that you want to share?
No, that's perfect. I wanted you to share it because you had all your notes written in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the active in front of me. But do you guys have any questions at all? Okay, I'm really excited to hear from Tiffany. I just don't want to start for about 4 more minutes. So if you have any questions, Lauren, are your people getting their products? And how can I help support you?
I need to go check and see if they've gotten it. Nobody said anything to me. In fact, like my husband's, he just got his today.
Okay.
And then and the only other person I know who said when they expected to get it was December 28th.
Okay.
That's what the site was telling them. So I was
December
like,
28th?
wow. Yeah, December 28th. So I'm like, well, it might come sooner than that, but if not, I guess at least they told you.
Send me the names on those people and let me check in my back office. And I'll track their order.
Yeah, I was gonna do that too because I did see that I could track it myself.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you're in there, you can track anybody's order and you can actually even get a UPS link with number, and all you do is copy and paste it in the UPS tracking system, or you can pull it straight from the Plexus website. Because the 28th
Also,
is wrong. That's like 20 days away.
I also don't want it to look like I was like cheating the system because I signed my husband up twice because like you guys saw, I had ordered the wrong thing and then I had to go through that whole ordeal. So it looks like I have him signed up twice, and I'm like, I don't want them to think I'm trying to get the rewards twice.
Oh no,
because
they'll fix it.
Okay, because we've already sent it back. That order came.
You're not the first person that's done that. My cousin did it a month ago, and then my other cousin did it 2 days ago. So
okay,
you're not the first, only, or last.
I find it kind of frustrating that they put like the $200 welcome packs first, because then you have to go really search for the triplex one.
The $99 triplex.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I try to, and I can send you the graphic I have. I send that to people if they're doing it just through my instructions. I mean, it's easier to do an enrollment over the phone, but say they can't talk, then I send them instructions, a picture, because it has like the little fancy box that it comes in, and that kind of like triggers their eye to know what to order.
Yeah, I didn't even think to look for that.
So I can send you that as well.
Yeah, that would be great. Also, I don't know if you saw what I said in the chat, but like I'll have people that are like, so tell me how it works. And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was reading that. So I want you to know, you don't ever have to know how things work. Like, this is where Sparking Plexus Health comes in, or Jamie or Melissa. And I'm here too. We'll help you. If you do that 3-way message, you will learn along with them. Because even as a registered nurse, I did not know anything about supplementation. Nicole knew way more than what I did. That's what she grew up with. That was her world. And my world is medications. Still to this day, I can tell you about any medication. And so when I would have that 3-way message with Nicole, I was learning along with the person I was helping. And now I'm 24 months in, and I feel like my knowledge of supplements have completely expanded. And that's the same with Carly. And I know Tiffany could agree. She's a nurse as well. And Tiffany's world is medications. And she's learning along with me, even with supplementation. So don't feel like you have to know everything.
And like, if they ask you a question, I do like to empower you to like go and look for the answer. So sometimes they ask me a question that I don't know, and I do a Google search, and I'm like, how does this affect
Or
this?
Sparking Plexus search.
Or I utilize Sparking Plexus.
Last time I sent them, like I went to that thing you had us copy to our notes, and I sent them the video that explained the triplex.
Yes.
And I was
so
like,
that's
maybe this
perfect.
will be a
That's perfect. So like, either send a video if it's in there, or go to Sparking and just put in, what they're asking in the search bar, look it up, read a couple. As you're reading, you're going to learn too. That's how I learned a lot as well. And then like send them, be like, oh, I found this story or I found this information. Can I add you to the group and tag you to it? Like you can put anyone in there. Me and Jess are filling up the Trust Your Gut page. It doesn't have as much as Sparking right now, but we are filling that up. And so you can also add them to that. And then what you could do, like this is what I would recommend, add them to that page. And then the information you want them to see, go and copy and paste it into that group and then tag them in that.
Oh,
That
yeah.
way we're adding to that group constantly. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I just encourage you to look for the information, and if you can't find it, always either reach out in a message to us or to your sponsor directly. But yeah, there's always somebody that is willing and excited to help you. So should we turn the time over to Tiffany?
Yes. Hi, Becky.
I'm so excited to learn from you, Tiffany.
Hey, thanks. Okay, so to start, I just wanted to introduce myself and give a little background. So my name is Tiffany. My last name is a little tricky. It's Optoff. It's a Dutch name. I am from Provo originally. I live in Lehigh now. My husband was in the military for a long time, and so we lived in North Carolina. So we've kind of bounced all around. It was in North Carolina that I went to nursing school. I currently work as a nurse, more in the mental health field, and I really love it. I have been on Plexus products now. I think I'm just over 6 months. I am not sure on the exact date. But I also have a background doing MLM. So that's kind of where some of this training stems from. I did LuLaRoe for quite a while, and I feel like I was really successful working that business model. When I did do it full force, I was able to transition out of nursing for a while and supported our family on that income. And so while I'm new to Plexus, I feel like I have a lot of insight to give on the like network marketing kind of side of things. So are we able to, do I just click share screen here?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, it took me a minute to unmute.
Host disabled attendee screen sharing. So I don't know if that's something we can.
Nicole, did you make her host?
Did you get an alert?
Got it.
It says you're the host now.
Okay, so we should work. Okay, so I'm gonna try and do this slideshow. Just hang in there with me if it's not perfect. Okay, so I am going to start and just, I want you to really take this, just like with the background that I mentioned. I also have read a really great book. It's called The Go-Giver. And if you haven't read it, it's something that I feel like really helps in this industry. So I thought that it would be great to start by just reminding each of you that the most valuable thing you have to give is yourself. So a quote from this book that I mentioned: as long as you're trying to be someone else or putting on some act or behavior someone else taught you, you have no possibility of truly reaching people. The most valuable thing you have to give people is yourself. No matter what you think you're selling, what you're really offering is you. So I really love, I love this idea, right? Because I think that when it comes down to it, what we're interested is not what somebody's like selling, right? We're interested in their life and what they're doing and how that product worked for them. So I also want to tie that into reaching people. So I want to talk about why is it important to reach people and what do you have to share? So like I mentioned, I feel like this business is very much network marketing. So we're making relationships and connections, and it's the people that you love that are going to be interested in Plexus products or doing the business. So you really need to be able to focus on those connections and reaching people. So that's why it's important. And you have so much to share, right? So I think that most of us are here because we have found a product that we love. It's changed our lives, it's changed our health, it has given so much back to many of us. And so you really have so much to share. And I think that, I don't know if any of you feel this way, but for me, sometimes I'll be like, oh, you know, I'm super hesitant to share because I'm like, what do I have to share, right? But first of all, you have yourself, and people, like, there are people out there that need to connect to you. And then you have a product that's changed your life that could probably change yours, and not only bring health and physical blessings to your life, to theirs, but also financial for both parties. So how do you mix Plexus into this, right? So I really love that Go Giver book, and I'm going to come back to giving. Like, I feel like that is just like a fundamental principle that really helps like when you're trying to share about a product. So first and foremost, I think it's really important to show interest in others by giving first. So another quote, your influence is determined by how abundantly you place other people's interests first. So one thing that I have learned is that on the days where I'm like, oh, I posted and no one's commenting and no one's coming around and no one's talking to me, right? It's really hard to get sucked into that mentality. But on those days, it's really important to take a step back and to really just think like, no one's talking to me, but did I talk to them, right? So are you putting someone else's interests ahead of yours? So are you spending time showing that you're interested in someone else? Because unless you're doing that, they're not going to reciprocate that and show interest in you. So making others a priority will allow for them to see you as a valuable person in their lives. Do we trust the people that show up for us? So yes, absolutely. I watched Jess for months post about things, and I trusted her because, you know, even though we had kind of disconnected over the years, the experiences that I had with her, I trusted her, and I knew she was reliable, and I knew she would show up for me, right? So would you trust somebody that you don't know anything about? Chances are you probably wouldn't, right? So so let's kind of come back around and talk about how to help others get to know you. So Nicole mentioned this a little bit earlier, but I think it's so important, and like just like vitally important, to share about everything and not just Plexus. Plexus is awesome, and there's so many great things to share, but I also feel that it's so important to share about your life and what's going on, and then connect with other people. Like, if you're doing most of your networking and your marketing online, be engaged and comment on things that resonate with you, and really connect with the people that are in your life. So I am so freezing. Sorry if you see me shivering. I don't know why my house is so cold right now. Oh, how can you give by connecting with others? So when I talk about being a go-giver, I don't mean like go out and give gifts and do this and do that. You know, those things can be great, but really you can give so much to somebody just by taking a minute to comment on a picture they posted, to tell them how great they look, to just be their friend, right? I think I've touched on that. So here's another quote that I loved from that book. Givers love to give. That's why they're attractive. Givers attract. So I truly feel that this principle is just so important. The more you give, the more you get. And if you want people to be interested in what you're posting and what you're sharing and what's important to you, you really have to take the time to be interested in what's important to them. So I wrote this, I don't get it, because I think that some people might
Can I add something to that last part?
Oh, sure.
I want to add that givers are attractive too, because they're not thinking about themselves, right? And sometimes I feel like when we're takers, like we're only thinking about ourselves. So it's like, I don't know, maybe my thought isn't coming through the way that I thought it would, but if we're not thinking about ourselves, then we won't be so self-conscious in our head because we'll just be thinking about the other person.
Right, right. And I think it's just so important. Like, also, I think that like being able to give really opens you to being able to receive, right? To like receive the blessings that are coming to you, to like be more approachable. And if you're willing to just step out of your comfort zone and like, and give that to someone else, I really think it can come back around. Am I making any sense? And does anyone have any questions?
No, you're making sense. That's what I was trying to say too. And then I was saying it and I'm like, maybe this isn't coming out the way I'm thinking it, but yeah,
No,
it makes sense.
Yes, Tiffany. And sorry, I can't make any comments. My keyboard's not working, but I'm loving this.
So I have a few more slides, and I'll make sure at the end to just leave some time for questions and whatnot. Sorry, we'll come back to screen sharing here. Okay, so if you don't get it, like I feel like some people that I've encountered in the past, they're like, I don't get how, like, if I'm spending time working on my relationships and like doing this and that, like, how is that going to help my business, right? Because like for me, sometimes I'm so business minded that I'm like, okay, here's my checklist, like XYZ that I have to accomplish for business stuff, right? But this stuff, the relationship stuff, is part of that. And it's really hard to see that sometimes, like always, that it meshes together. I love this quote too. So your income is determined by how many people you serve and how well you serve them. So are you serving your friends by showing up for them? Are you expecting people to show up for you when you don't show up for them? This is like a really hard thing, like a hard pill to swallow, right? Because, you know, like with anything in life, I feel like sometimes when I get into this like pity party for myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's hard to realize that if I'm not getting what I want, it's probably because I'm not giving enough, or I'm not showing up for the people that are supposed to be showing up for me. And then also, if you have a downline, are you showing up for them? So I think that's really important. Jess does this so well for me. But if you have a downline, make sure that you're checking in with them and seeing how they're doing, so that they don't feel like they just signed up and then they're gone, you know? So how to mix business in. Nicole and Jess touched on this a little earlier. Be consistent. So don't only post about Plexus, post about your life, and then comment on the things others share and spend time with people. So I think in addition to being active on social media, like really try to engage with people in person. And I know that's really tricky right now with COVID. But you can also show people how Plexus allows you to live your life. That's something that you can share. And I don't ever want to sound like you shouldn't share about Plexus, right? I feel, and keep in mind, like, this is just my perspective, and if it doesn't work for you, that's totally fine. But I think it's really important to have a balance. But if you want to share about Plexus, like, don't hesitate, right? I think that the people who need to hear it will, and they will come around when they want to. So that's just a little background that I wanted to give before talking about my perspective on goals. Sorry if that mouse has been bugging you right there in the center. So do you feel overwhelmed when making goals such as, I will have like this amount of white lines, I think that's the term, I'm so new, sponsored by the end of the month? So that kind of thinking really, I don't know why, it just like stresses me out. It makes me feel overwhelmed. I feel burnout because by the end of the month, I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't do that, right? And so for me, I really have to set goals that will allow me to have a checklist so I can check things off, and so that I know I'm like putting money in my long-term piggy bank, right? So instead of focusing on that type of goal, what I like to do is remember the tasks that will help me achieve the goal. And so if it's like people that I want to sponsor, I would kind of step back and say, okay, I'm going to do this amount of tasks each day and balance and be consistent, like every day, right? Even if it's just posting about my life on social media, that's going to help you foster relationships with the people that follow you. And I mean, even just with your friends and your family too. I mean, they watch what you post and they like it too. And I think it's such a great thing to do. So I think that this consistency is what helps over time. And I really feel sad when people get discouraged, like if they're not sponsoring a certain amount of people per month. But I think that if you are doing like consistent things daily, congratulate yourself and give yourself grace, because people that are interested, like they're probably just watching from the sidelines and they're going to sign up on their time and not yours. So all you have to do is like be consistent and just put money into that long-term success bank, right? So I don't know how many of you watched from the sidelines. I definitely did. And I did it on my time and no one else's. So I'm very much that kind of person. So I put together just a list of a few tasks that might be like, I don't know, good brainstorming ideas for you to do. So I like to really balance things between relationship and like business, right? So relationship and Plexus. So you'll see this slide is more geared toward relationship and the next one should be Plexus. So spending 5 to 10 minutes on Facebook or Instagram commenting on things that someone else has posted. So my guess is like you're probably scrolling Instagram and Facebook already. And I know I spend way more than 5 to 10 minutes. Like I'm embarrassed to admit, but I have to set a timer on my phone, like on Instagram. Oh, excuse me. I don't know what's going on with my voice all of a sudden. It's just getting croaky. I'm so sorry. I guess I have not talked this much in a while. So I set a timer on my phone and it chimes at me when I've reached my hour limit on Instagram, because I don't want to be sucked into my phone. But if you're just kind of mindlessly scrolling, like make sure you're double tapping and make sure to comment on things that other people are posting too. So chances are that will improve a relationship with them. And I feel like you're never, ever going to regret building relationships. And then also, it's going to help the chance of like them seeing your stuff, right? That algorithm. So that's really confusing, but I feel like the more you engage with someone and then they engage with you, you kind of take priority in their feed. And so they're more likely to see something of yours if you've engaged with one another. So sending text to people, handwritten thank you notes, private message, find a way to serve someone else. So, and then I think just like I said before, posting about things from your personal life, whether it be workout, kids, food, life in general, I think any of those things are things that you could do daily that are just really easy and foundational. Here are some ideas for Plexus that I had. And again, these are not like, you don't have to do the whole list every day, but doing like 2 to 3 a day, right? Pick a Plexus and do a couple other things. And if you did that for a month, I would be so interested to see how much growth someone would have if they did those kind of things. So sharing a personal video, sharing a favorite product, sharing someone else's story. There's what is it, Sparking Plexus? I think I wrote Synergy Plexus, sorry. Invite someone to What is Plexus Call, 3 days of Plexus, like has been mentioned, tagging people in those groups. I think I got my group names way off. I am so sorry. I wasn't intentional with this as I should have been. I had a kid on my lap at that time. Keep a list of people that you engage with. Like if somebody has shown interest in Plexus, write their name down, keep a list, keep a spreadsheet, follow up with them, right? Because they already gave you that in. So those are the people that you want to be like directly messaging and checking in with. I also think it's like really fun to get creative, and not always like share about what you're posting, right? So if you have your pink drink and you're shaking it up in your story and you're just like chatting while you're doing your dishes, people are going to see that. They might see Plexus written on the cup if you have that. But if you're not like selling it like, oh, this is my pink drink, this is what it does, they might write you and be like, what's that you're drinking? How does it make you feel? And so I think it's really fun to get creative like that and to leave it open just enough to have somebody message you. And then I think it's really helpful, like while you're doing the dishes or something, listen to the videos in these groups. Like those are moments of time where you're probably like not really doing much and you have time to listen. I mean, like dishes are a lot, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so another thing that I wanted to chat about and just kind of throw in here, are you making it easy for someone to find what you've posted? So on Instagram, I'm going to skip down to the second bullet. You can create bubbles from your stories. I don't know if you know about those. If you don't, please let me know. And you can create covers for those as well. And you can just do like a picture with text if you'd like. But I feel like those are really helpful for people that might be interested in just kind of like coming back through to find info that you've posted. Have a Plexus bubble saved. Also, you can move Instagram posts to Pinterest. I love doing this kind of stuff. Make sure to link it back to your Instagram to kind of create that loop. So you'll do that by copying the link from your Instagram. And then when you go to Pinterest to pin the pin, you'll pin from the website instead of just the picture, if that makes sense.
Can you explain that one more time?
Yeah.
Say that one more time so it can sink into my brain.
Okay.
Because I do not know how to do these things.
Okay, is it okay if I maybe show you on my phone in just a minute? I have like 2 more slides, and then I'll show you how to do it.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, that's totally fine.
Okay. All right. So I'll just write a note. Let's see. Covers, hashtags. Okay. So hashtags, when I first like heard about hashtags, I was like, oh, that's a cool way to make your photo look like cool, right? Just like put a clever saying with your photo. But what I love is that they're like a digital categorization. So do you remember, I don't know if many of you are my age, but when you'd go to the library and they used to have like the old indexing system, right? And you'd like find your card and then you'd know where to go get your book. I feel like that's what hashtags are online. And so when you put a hashtag with your information, what I like to do is I like to think like, okay, say I'm searching for like health, right? And I'm feeling really down and like I have thyroid issues. So I have thyroid issues. So I would probably search online for thyroid condition or Hashimoto's. So those are hashtags that I want included with my Plexus videos. So you don't want to do just Plexus videos or Plexus hashtags, because chances are if somebody's looking for like a health something to change their life, health supplement or whatever it be, they're going to look for the condition that they have before the product, because they might not know about Plexus. And so get creative with your hashtags, and you can also create your own. So say like you're creating videos on Instagram, we'll just say on Instagram stories. If you did a training, like you could hashtag Plexus TIFF training #1, right? You can create your own so that when you are sending out links or whatever, or you're helping your downline, you can say, okay, just go search for this hashtag. And if you've created your own individualized hashtags, like it's an easy way for them to find that information. So, okay, so I think we're nearing the end of this. Thanks for hanging in. What I like to do is I like to map out my month. So when I see the calendar kind of go up in the team page, I put down those Plexus events on my calendar, right? So 3 days of Plexus starts now. And then I know like, okay, I want to be doing a lot of personal posting leading up to that, right? Because I want to be talking with people and engaging with people. and this sounds really bad, like I only have relationships for Plexus or for any marketing strategy. That's not the case. Like, this does come from a genuine place. It's just, I think that if you're doing those things already, and there are people that are interested, it's good to kind of use your time wisely and put it all in together. I think leaving an open invitation, like right before the event, is really great. So you can tie that in with any posting that you do about Plexus. Checking in with your downline. I think also, like, knowing the personalities that you're working with is really important. So for me, for example, Jess checks in with me, but I'm such an autonomous person. Like, I'm totally cool just like flying solo most of the time. I don't like always need social interaction, and I'm kind of just like a hermit sometimes. So I'm like totally fine not checking in with people every day. So for me, I have to make notes like throughout the week. Okay, check in with this person, and I just keep it. I have an old school planner like Jess, and that's how I remember to check in with people. If, just about Plexus, like if we're just talking as friends, I keep that separate, and then I just do my Plexus check-ins additionally. So I really do think being consistent and sprinkling Plexus in the mix is so helpful, and just staying active and engaged in all aspects. I wanted to wrap this up. So I don't know how many of you have taken personality quizzes. I think they're really fun, but like hardcore, I am blue. And so this training is probably like more geared towards somebody who might be blue, but I do think that like the go-giver mentality would help a lot of you. But if you don't know about personality info, I think doing it with your team would be really fun, because you can kind of see, like, say for example, if somebody's green and they're coming to you and they are like, okay, tell me about Plexus, but you've got to tell me like exactly what, like, this is what a green person would say, like what is in it and how many micrograms and like how many IUs of vitamin D, and I need to know every ingredient, right? Whereas a blue would be like, okay, I have a good feeling about you, I'll try it. Whatever you tell me is fine. So that's how I am, and I trusted Jess. But it's so fun. And yeah, so I am going to stop this share, and then I'll try to show you the Pinterest thing really fast and open up for some questions. I hope I talked fast enough and slow enough. And
I love it.
That was perfect.
I was gonna add, so there's different color schemes, right? So like I've never seen that one with the gold and the green.
Okay.
And the orange. Is that what is that based off of? Is that based off of the Go Giver, or is it like
no? It's just one I found online, like that just had the blue. Yeah.
So like, because I've heard of like white, red, blue, and
okay.
What am I missing? Yellow.
Yeah.
Which was probably what the gold is. Anyways, so like there's different colors, but they're similar. But Emily Gibson, when I first started, really encouraged us to look into the personalities, the colors, and I do think that it's hard to label someone a specific color, right? Yeah. We can pull from different colors, but I do think that Tiffany's spot on when she says, learn the personality that you're working with, because as you start to learn those personalities, like what they mean, you'll be able to kind of draw off of them. Like when I talk to someone, I'm like, oh my gosh, she is totally blue. Like I can like just hear like you said, their heart, and they want to be moved, and they're more sensitive, and they move more off of emotion, right? I'm talking, dude. I'm like,
right. It does help. I'm just reading all these comments. Sorry.
And that's how I feel too with three-way validation text messaging. Because where I'm super blue, I do have some red in me. And when I'm pregnant, I'm super red. But with Nicole, who's more red, because she does have blue in her, I feel like with that three-way validation, she might be a little bit more bold, just because reds are a little bit more bold versus blue, where it's like, okay, just do what you want. Like, I'm just more sensitive, I guess, where Nicole does have blue. I'm not saying she's not sensitive. I just think she's driven in different ways. And so that's why I think the community of Plexus is so important, because we all we all create the rainbow, right?
Right.
So that, I love that you shared that tip. And I think that's really important in social media too, because when you're responding to someone, I would respond differently to a blue than I would a yellow or a red.
Yeah.
And that's how I think you build that relationship and that trust with them, by knowing their color.
What is the more laid back one? Sometimes I think
It's a white, but I don't know what it is in the one that you did.
I'm not sure, maybe orange, but sometimes I think I'm a little bit of that too, because I'm like, whatever will be. I get to it, you know.
Like white
So,
flow. Like think of a river. They'll move around the rocks.
oh yeah,
Right. Like they don't like the confrontation. They're more laid back, more to themselves. Melissa's nodding her head. She's a white. I think that this is really important also for the community of the business. Understanding different personalities and understanding how they, work and like as an individual, and how when they're saying something, maybe where it's coming from. Like even when I communicate with Jess, sometimes I have to remember that maybe she's more sensitive to something than I would be. And so I have to remember like, oh, maybe she's feeling this way. Maybe she connects with it in this way. You know what I mean? And realizing that there's no bad color and there's no wrong way, but we all just internalize things or maybe are motivated by things a little bit differently. Right. And that's what I love, is that it's not that one's bad and one's right and one's wrong. Because in the beginning I kind of got that vibe a little bit, but now I'm like, no, like every personality is needed. Like I love, who said that it was like the colors of the rainbow, Jess? It's like, that's what makes the rainbow beautiful, right? It's like all the colors together. So anyways, you have it pulled up what you were going to share on Pinterest, because this is something that just confuses me. And so maybe.
Can you see my screen? Okay, so pull up an Instagram photo, y'all. I will walk you through it. Okay, so go to your Instagram and click on your latest photo. And then do you see those 3 little dots in the right upper hand corner? Everyone good? Okay, you'll click copy link. Once you've copied that, you'll go over to Pinterest. And you want to.
It can be in the app, or does it have to be
in the app? And then you'll click on your little your name, and then you'll just slide down to where you see there should be like a plus mark at the top right hand corner. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna click that, and then you'll create pin. Once you do that, you'll see next to the camera there's like a little world sign. Do you see that? Like a circle with like a sideways eye in it. Does everyone see that?
I think so.
Okay, so you'll click the plus, and then you'll click on pin under create.
Does it look like a world kind of with like an eye?
It's like right there, that little world. You'll click that, and then you paste your link there and click go. So then when you do that, your image should pop up. You'll click save, and you'll choose the board you want to save it to.
Oh my gosh.
So let me find this. You'll
so
choose
if I save it to a board on mine, does that affect when other people search it? Like, do I want to like health,
Here's
or
what
like
I would
health or something like that, so that when people put in,
so what
like when they type that in, does that pull that up kind of like a hashtag, or no?
What you need to do is you need to go back in and you need to click the photo on Pinterest, and then you're going to click edit pin, and then you'll edit that public note, and you'll type what it's about, gut health. That's where you'll put that. And
do you have to do hashtags or no?
I would I feel like it's a good way of categorizing it, but I would just do like a brief synopsis, like description, and then a few hashtags, and then save it.
So like, you know how when you search on Pinterest, when I search like home decor, is that me searching a hashtag?
It probably is. Yeah, you're searching.
That's what I'm wondering, like, does it have to be a hashtag for people to pull it up?
I think as long as your words are in the photo description, and
it
then
will still pull it up?
It should. And then, but I would do the hashtag just to kind of double cover yourself. And then I was also reading that it's really helpful to label your board like health or some, like the board you're pinning it to, right? Have it be
I'm
like
pinning it on my board, like on one of my boards.
Mm-hmm.
but it makes it so that everyone else can see it. I've never
If you
posted
make it
to Pinterest.
public.
Okay.
Right.
How do I know if
And
it's
then
public?
if somebody just finds it or finds your post about, like, say you pin a picture of yourself with your pink drink, you can write the public note what it's about, and then they can click visit and they can find you on Instagram. So it's
how do I know if my Pinterest is public? Do I just have to, is it just in settings?
Yeah, look in your settings, and then if
Okay.
somebody repins that, you should get a notification. So it kind of takes a while to start happening. But it does kind of like help if you can kind of connect like all your social media accounts and have them flow together. I think it helps bring in people from like different avenues, you know.
Tiffany, does your Instagram then have to be public as well for them to go on it?
It should, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
If you're only publishing from like a personal account, so I have a personal account that I'll post on, and then I also have a public account. I don't like to share like things about my kids
I'll come in there and just
too much like publicly. I get really scared about stuff like that.
Yeah, me
so
too.
I keep like a public account and then a private account. If you do have a public account, you can link it to like you could set up it as a business account, which is really helpful. And then on Instagram, that will allow you to see insights. So you can see how many people are viewing it, liking it. The business tools there are really awesome. And then you can link it with a Facebook business page too. So that's probably a lot.
So Tiffany, that's what I did, but I don't really want it linked to a Facebook business page. I just want it linked to my normal page. That way I don't have to like repost my stories twice.
Oh, right. So I would just unlink your business page then.
But can I do that? Because my husband thought that I could only have a business page on Instagram if I linked it to a business page.
No, I recently unlinked mine because I don't love everything going over there either.
Maybe you could walk me through it. Because
yeah, I totally can.
I cannot figure it out. Not right now, but later. You can walk me through later.
I get nervous on Facebook business because I don't know. I feel like I have a closer eye on like who's looking at things on Facebook, because if I have any like weird followers, like I get so many weird things popping up and I just block them left and right because I don't know. I like Instagram better. So anyway.
So much easier walking through that. Thank you for doing that because I'm new to Pinterest still, so it helped seeing that. Like I just did it twice, so thank you.
Oh, totally. Oh, and that's something else I wanted to mention. So my friend the other day, she signed up, but she was asking me about like information she had found, right? And I asked her like, where did you find that? And she said, oh, Pinterest. And that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even look on Pinterest for information. I just go to Google, right? But there must be people doing it.
Nicole and I did a gut health expo, like right when I started sharing for the gluten-free expo. And I had several people, and I have to remember that these people going to these expo shows are exposed to a lot of the things through Pinterest. And I had a ton of people be like, oh, is that the pink drink that is posted all over Pinterest? And I'm like, oh my gosh, people they know the pink drink, not because of what they've heard. They don't even know it's Plexus. They just know it's the pink drink. So I think that's why it's so important to link all of that, which I haven't been doing. And that information is super helpful to link back to your Instagram.
Oh yeah. I like that you can create that loop.
Yes. I love that. Thank you so much for showing that. Does anybody have any questions for Tiffany, you guys? She's amazing. I've known Tiffany for 13 years, Tiff. Like more than half my life because I'm only like 22. So add like 10 years. But she is amazing, you guys. She has a great medical background. She's a genius. And then you add on the social media and reaching achievable goals is like her strive. She's amazing at it. So this is the time to ask questions if you have any questions for Tiff.
Actually, I really appreciate it. I was just telling Jessica and Nicole that my social media game is just lacking, and it always has my whole life. I mean, since it was invented. So I need all the help I can get. So I really appreciate it. But I was just with the Pinterest thing, you said it might take a while. Have you found that you have people connecting to you from other things besides Instagram and Facebook? Like, is that effective for you? Like, is that
So I would say like that's not the first thing I would focus on. I
Okay.
feel like I would make that more of a back burner thing.
Okay.
So when I did LuLaRoe before, a lot of people would find me by outfits I had posted on Pinterest, and they would come and join. I had a closed Facebook group that I used to do like live videos and whatnot where I would sell clothes. They would find me and come join my group, or they would like randomly text me and be like, oh my gosh, I saw you on Pinterest today. But to be honest, like I tried to delete as much as I could a couple years ago because I just wanted a break from everything. And so for the last couple of months, I would say I've been trying to rebuild. So probably since October. And I just like have been very like slowly building. So I'm posting things on Pinterest, but I haven't had that like back loop yet. And so I think it does take a while. And I think like if you want to improve your social media game, I think honestly like just connecting with your personal friends and family is such a great place to start, and post about your family and your kids and comment on pictures that you see and engage that way. I think that's a really great way to go.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And can I just add too, that Reels is like the new thing. And you guys, it makes me uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't want to add one more thing to my list to learn. But then once I did it, I was like, okay, this really isn't that hard. And I can do a reel in like 5 or 10 minutes. And it's a good action that's going to get people watching, even if it has nothing to do with Plexus. And so Instagram for me, I used to get a lot of traction on Instagram, and now I hardly get any, which is so frustrating. But I noticed that I get way more views in my stories. And since I have been doing reels, I've been getting way more likes. And that you doing what people are watching is really important. People don't want to maybe go read a long post as much. I mean, you can still post, I still do, but doing the reels is what is up and trending right now. And so people are really like scrolling and watching them, and it's open to people that aren't even your followers from what I've heard, right? Like people can see like trending reels or whatever, and you can go and watch it. And so you might find, you know, new traction and new followers from it. And so I know Becky's been doing it, and she's been getting a lot of interaction there. And it's just fun. Like people want fun. They want something new and entertaining. And so being you, like I'm not like maybe super goofy or yippity like in mine. Like I feel like I tend to be a little bit more of a serious person, but that's okay because that's me, right? And like somebody, like I see Brooke Hemingway's and she's like, woo, and I'm like, woo, that's like not me, but like it's her. And so being you and finding what's you, like I'll probably do some like yoga ones because that's just something that I love and I feel comfortable doing. And then maybe throwing in like a Plexus one with your pink drink. But I think that reels are a really important part of it. So I wanted to throw that in there.
So I don't have on my like business account that I don't have the reel option at the bottom. It's only on my personal and my other.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, is it at the top when you go like mine?
No.
I'm pretty
Becky,
sure.
insight. Becky, teach us how to reel.
I tried TikTok for the
You
first
might be at work, but
When you hit
Becky,
the plus button at the top, you know the plus. Wow, you
I
really
just
can't.
got it at the bottom.
I don't know. When I hit the plus button at the top, it goes to post, story, reel, or live.
Mine only has post, story, highlight, Instagram TV. But if I go to my personal one,
I wonder if it just needs to be updated. Can you like
that's
update?
why I did like TikTok. I feel so old.
I don't know. I don't know how, but I just know that when it all updated, that's where mine's at.
Okay, maybe I do need to like uninstall and reinstall it.
Yeah, I'm not sure because I'm pretty sure that mine is a business account. So, because my husband had like set it up that way because I have like the insights, right, and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure why. Like sometimes my husband's will update at a different time than mine, and I don't know why. So like I'll get a new feature and he'll be like, why doesn't mine do that? It's really weird actually. Like for the longest time.
I want it though, but I don't know how to use it. I keep trying and then it tells me like that clip is too long or something. I gotta figure it out.
I had to, I just kind of had to mess around with it a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, I'm happy to talk about it. My internet is not working at all right now.
I'm so old and shaky.
On my phone. I don't know why. But if you go to that top button and then you hit reel, it will just bring up, oh, and now it's like weird because it's like on a different side than it normally is. So pretty much what you do is you record, like you guys aren't going to be able to see, I don't think, but you just like, you tap it and you record for a minute and you can see at the top, there's a like a line. That's your time. And then when you tap it, it stops. And then you can go in and you can rewatch it down here if you tap. And you can see at the top, there's like a line.
So do you record like within the reel or do you upload like?
You can do either. So if you swipe, if I touch down at the bottom, there's a little square right there that with like my latest picture or video. So if I tap that, it'll pull up anything in my camera roll and I can upload that from my camera roll. And then once it's in there, when you click on it, so like if I were to record right now, like, hey guys, how are you? And then there's like a little arrow. Do you see the little picture with the arrow right there? There's my record button, the white one, and then right here, you click on that. Hey guys, how are you? Okay, so say I'm like, oh, I don't like that, I want to trim it, or it's too long. There's scissors right here, and then you can trim it. You can be like, oh, I only need the beginning of that, and so I'm going to trim it to there. Does that make sense? So it's just, if you've done TikTok, it's really similar. So if I press the garbage can right here, I'm going to turn this down so you can hear me, sorry. If I press the garbage can right here, it will delete that clip, okay? But you have to be careful because there's a way to delete one clip at a time. Or to delete, like, so say I have 5 different clips that are linked together. Like, did any of you guys see my Christmas ornament one? Where I was doing the Christmas ornaments. So like I do it in clips, right? So when you're doing it, like if I were to record, my biggest mistake in the beginning was that I would record like 5 clips and then on accident, I would delete them all at once. Because there's one that says delete all, and then there's one that says delete one clip. So pay attention to that so you don't delete them all. And then you can go in and you can like trim them and you can add music and you can speed it up too. So like there's a speed up button right here times 1 right there. I don't know if you see right there. And then it says like, I want it on ×3 zoom. And so then if I'm talking like this, then it'll speed it up, watch. You hear it? Because it's like speeding it up. So sometimes like it's fun to do that. Like when I was doing my ornaments, I sped it up so that it would go faster. But then when you add music over it, it covers up that sound. Anyways, I don't know if any of that's making sense, but I would just kind of mess around with it. Just kind of like going in and messing around with it. Just know that you can add music before in the beginning or after at the end. And once you've done all the clips and you've filled up all the clips at the top, the red line's full at the top. That means that you're full of time. And like I said, like the other day I was making one and I had ran out of time. It was the ornament one. And I was like, I need one more little clip. And so I went and I trimmed each video just a tiny bit and it made room for one more clip. And then once it's full, you press the arrow button over and that's when you add. So say, is this making sense? Okay, so
Yeah,
if I do
Becky
another clip,
posted,
what did you say?
Becky posted too the YouTube video. I think Katie Tucker sent it in our message group because I had asked as well.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I was, yeah, it was super
that
helpful.
help?
I watched it a couple days ago and I've already made like 2 reels, my first
Oh,
ones.
good. I haven't seen your reels, I don't think. I have to go watch them.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway,
so
sorry.
awesome. No, I love that. Yeah, I mean, you can YouTube it. So if you can't tell from my phone, you can YouTube it. But I was just going to say, once you're done, you press the arrow over and it will show you like the videos. and then you just go up, just like you do when you're doing a story. You click the A, the big A and little A, that's for writing. Click that, and then you can write stuff, and you can adjust where you want it to show up and stuff like that. But yeah, I would just watch that YouTube video if you want more, deeper information on it. But what is InShot, Becky? It's an app. What is the point of uploading it and editing it there? Can you talk, or are you much easier? So you make the video there and then you upload the video to the reel? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Sorry, I'm in bed. So InShot is an app. So I pre-record my videos just with my normal camera from my phone. And then I select my videos from my camera roll, and then I can edit it in InShot. And you can do the same thing. You can clip or edit down how long your video is. And then you can add multiple videos. You can do like transitions. You can add music. There's just lots of stuff that you can do in that app. And then when you're done, you just save it. And then when you go into your reels, you just select that video from your photos.
And you
Does
just
that make
like
sense?
it's more user friendly, or?
I just feel like we're in the Reels app, like when you're in there and you're recording your videos, like you can't really go back through and edit it very much. Does that make sense? Where I can record off my own camera, and when I like it, that I can just use that and upload it instead of having to use the Reels recording option, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Those videos I posted in the comments are super helpful. I watched several videos to learn how to do it and to use InShot, and everybody recommends using that app.
Okay,
So
that's good to know. Carly,
I'm
what
not
would you
super
say?
helpful because I'm still learning myself, but I would just recommend watching those
The one where
videos.
your hair was blowing, did you just have a fan in that? Okay, I was like, was that like a part of the app that I'm missing out on, or was there just like a fan? Because I was like, that was a pretty cool like effect. I liked it.
Yeah, I was just using a fan.
Yeah, that's awesome. Carly, what were you gonna say?
I just want to make sure it was the right app, but Becky, can you copy and paste that InShot link for YouTube into the message thread too on Instagram? Or the Messenger, Facebook Messenger? I like watching the tutorials. I need all the help I can get. Thanks, Becky.
All right, well, this was super helpful. Thank you so much, you guys, for sharing all your tidbits. And Tiffany, that was incredible. I really loved the visual PowerPoint so much. Like it just helps to see that and know exactly what you're talking about. And I took notes on it, and I love everything you shared. And I love the tips on Pinterest. So
thank you, Tiff. Thank you so much for everyone that had some tidbits and all of that. Thank you so much. That was so very helpful.
all right, well, have a wonderful night, ladies. I love you all, and I hope you have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.